السلام عليكم يا شباب، عاملين ايه؟ طالما يعني المفروض وصلنا للمرحلة دي في التريننج، فهو كده احنا شفنا ايه هو الاونلاين ادفرتايزنج، فاهمين يعني ايه اس اي او، فاهمين يعني ايه بي بي سي، فهمنا السكريبت، بصينا على الاستراكشر اللي هي اول صفحه في السكريبت، اللي هو السكريبت بيشتغل ازاي في حاجه اسمها سيلز بيتش، ازاي بنتكلم فيها، فين البيك تايم اوف انترست، امتى اقول اوبجكشن وارد وارجع اند سو اون. انتوا المفروض خلصتوا الفيديوهات دي كلها. فاحنا دلوقتي we are in a video على product update. زي ما انتوا عارفين we have been working for quite some time، ويمكن كل فترة 5 أو 7 سنين بنغير البرودكت، وعشان كده now we're talking about a new product. not a new product بالنسبة للناس العادية، بس المفروض بالنسبة لكم it's the same, it's actually related to the same. هو SEO، بس مش SEO بيعتمد على ال first page placements. بمعنى الناس قعدت فترة كبيرة جدا في حياتها بتعتمد على ان ال first page number one on the first page دي غاية، مع ان دي المفروض تبقى وسيلة. يعني ايه غاية ووسيلة؟ غاية يعني لا، هم عايزين يوصلوا للقصة دي، مع ان في الاخر هو انت لو وصلت ان انت تبقى نمبر 1 فيرست بيج، طب ما انت ممكن التليفون يكون ما بيرنش، ممكن يكون ما بيجيلكش كلاينتس، ممكن تكون ما بتكسبش كويس. فالناس عشان اعتمدت ان دي غايه لفتره طويله جدا، النصب بقى فيها كتير، بقى في بلاك هات اس اي او، بقى في ناس بتضحك على الناس تقول لهم يو بي اون ذا فيرست بيج، بعد بكره ياخدوا فلوسهم ويجروا. فشويه حصل عقده للكلاينتس من موضوع فيرست بيج فيرست بيج فيرست بيج وجوجل نمبر 1 اون ذا فيرست بيج. فبقى انطباعها على الودن صعب، بقى انطباعها على الودن مرفوض. علشان كده mainly Wisdec came up with this product which is called hyperreact.js. ايه hyperreact.js ده؟ فعليا يعني الحقيقة ان هو SEO عادي جدا، بس SEO بنخاطب بيه ال AI عشان يجيب لك كلاينت ليدز. عشان مين اللي يجيب الكلاينت ليدز؟ ال AI يبعت لك كلاينت ليدز. بمعنى ايه الكلام اللي انا بقوله ده؟ يعني لما واحد يسأل على ويندوز اند دورز، على جيميناي، على جوجل اي اي، جوجل سيرش انجن، وبيسأل بالفويس كوماند مثلا، فالاي اي يبتدي يفتش ايه ده ويندوز اند دورز، طب ادي احلى ويب سايت ويندوز اند دورز اهو، ايه رأيك فيه؟ خش اعمل منه انكواري، اطلب منه السيرفيس بتاعته. طب احنا بنعمل ويب سايتس دلوقتي اللي هي رياكت او هايبر رياكت دوت جي اس، هي بتعمل الفورميولا دي، هي بتعمل اللفة دي، هي المحببة للاي اي، هي المحببة لجيميناي الجوريزم، كل الكلام ده بحيث ان احنا نضمن ان الاي اي بيشتغل يعني خادم عند الويب سايت ده، ويقعد يبعت له ليدز عشان شايف ان هو احلى واجمد وما فيش منه اتنين ويب سايت. هو ده الهايبر رياكت دوت جي اس. هو ويب سايت سريع، ريسبونسيف، الاي اي بيحبه، بيفضله، بيريكومندوا للناس. فالنتيجة دي بتوصل لايه في الاخر؟ ان هي بتبعت لكلاينت ليدز، مش احنا اللي نبعت له، الاي اي بيقعد يزق له ليدز. وهي دي الغاية اللي الناس دلوقتي عايزة تبص لها. يا فرحتي I'm on the first page of Google، يا فرحتي I'm number one on the first page of Google. تليفون بيرن؟ No. حد بيكلمني؟ لا. طب لو انت مش على الفيرست بيج خالص، مش موجود على جوجل اساسا، وكل يوم بيجي لك ليدز، وكل يوم حد بيعمل اوردرات والليدز واقفه عندك، هتبقى زعلان؟ نو. So that's the new method, that's the new thing. ان الغايه تتحول من number one on the first page ل leads 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 leads. That's the story behind this product. بيتعمل ازاي؟ ليه sophisticated process، complicated شويه، ينفع لناس وناس لا، بس mainly عشان نتكلم بطريقة سهلة ينفع لأي حد ما بيغيرش كتير في الويب سايت. ليه؟ عشان الويب سايت مش معمول عشان الاودينس تتفرج عليه، مش معمول عشان الله ده أجمل فيجوالز، الله ده أحلى ايكونز، الله ده أجمل شكل. لا، معمول عشان اللي يقول الله ده أحلى ويب سايت الاي اي يقول الله أحلى ده ويب سايت. معمول عشان الاي اي يبص عليه ويقول ايه ده انا لازم ده رهيب، ده اجمد واحد، ده هيشرفني لما اعرضه على الناس. فمعمول عشان يبهر الاي اي، مش يبهر الكلاينت، مش يبهر الاودينس بتاعت الراجل، لا، يبهر الاي اي. فالاي اي يبتدي ياخده يقعد يريكومنده للناس. هو ده الليد جنريشن اللي بيحصل عنده. اوكي، عملنا له سكريبت. اوكي، طيب في فيديو هنشوفه دلوقتي بيشرح برودكت، ولكن اللي شايف نفسه هيتلخبط يقف لحد هنا، لان انا مش محتاج تعرف تكنيكاليتيز، انا محتاج بس تحفظ السكريبت بالاوبجكشن ريباتلز الحته دي، عشان دي اللي انت هتقولها. ما فهمتهاش ممكن تفهمها بعدين عادي، ولكن اللي عايز يفهم برودكت هنشوف فيديو ويزدك عاملاه دلوقتي بيشرح البرودكت. اوكي، ربنا يوفقكم، يلا نتفرج على الفيديو.
What you're looking at right now is a list of 135 real leads, homeowners ready to buy, that came in over 4 months for one local windows and doors company. One new website. That's it. No paid ads, no cold calling, no chasing leads on Homestars or Angie. Just qualified, organic leads from Google every single day. That's what we built. Here's exactly how it works. Google rolled out major updates in 2026, and they basically penalized every website that loads slow, looks bad on a phone, or isn't built the right way. Old websites got pushed down. New, fast, properly built websites moved up. Here's the thing. Your competitors didn't necessarily get better at what they do. Their website just got better than yours. So Google sends them the calls. Not you. A slow website isn't just embarrassing. It's costing you real jobs every single day.
Let me show you something real quick. This is a windows and doors company we built a new site for. You're looking at their lead list. 135 qualified leads in 4 months. One quality lead every single day. Here's an HVAC company. 17 leads first month after launching. Deck Builder, 12 leads in 1 month. First page of Google for local deck builder keywords. Personal injury law firm, 55 consultation inquiries in just 3 months. And this one, a luxury windows company. Ranking number 1 for luxury windows Toronto within 1 week of launching. 1 week. These aren't big corporations with massive marketing budgets. These are local businesses just like yours. Here's what we actually built and why it works. Speed. Our sites load in under 1 second. Google measures this. Slow sites get buried, fast sites get shown. Simple as that. Mobile. Over 70% of your customers are searching on their phone. If your site looks broken or loads slow, they leave in 3 seconds and call your competitor. Built to rank. Every page is structured exactly the way Google's latest updates reward. So instead of fighting for visibility, your site gets pushed up. Built to convert. Traffic means nothing if visitors don't call. Our sites are laid out specifically to turn a visitor into a phone call or a form submission. The result? Sites that don't just look good, they work. Now, what does this cost? Agencies that build sites at this level typically charge between $7,000 and $15,000. We build the same quality with 27 years and 15,000 projects behind us, starting at $3,000. But here's something worth knowing. We're actively looking for case study partners in select markets, businesses we can feature as a success story. If your city isn't taken yet, you may qualify to get your website built completely free. Here's exactly what happens next. Step 1, quick call. We find out which services generate the most revenue, which areas you want to dominate, what kind of jobs you actually want more of. Step 2, working demo site within 7 days. You see exactly what your new site looks like before anything goes live. Step 3, we launch, and leads start coming in. Some of our clients got their first lead within 24 hours of going live. WizDeck has been doing this since 1998, 27 years, over 15,000 projects across hundreds of industries. We've been through every major Google update, and we build every site specifically for what Google is rewarding right now, in 2026. So,
If you're tired of watching competitors get the calls that should be coming to you, and you're serious about fixing that, click the calendar booking link. Grab a time, we'll show you a working demo of your new site within 7 days, and we'll find out if your city is still available. On the call, we'll show you who's outranking you, how many leads your market can generate, and exactly what the first 90 days look like. Now, grab a time in the calendar and let's get your phone ringing again. Talk soon.
السلام عليكم يا شباب، عاملين ايه؟ So this is the new script. طبعا هيبقى فيه more details شرح يعني from the owner of the company about each and every point. However, this is the new script and objections rebuttals we work with. بس محتاج اقول كذا point. Number one، احنا نلتزم بالسكريبت word by word بدون تغيير بدون اي حاجة. اوكي. طيب let me give you some يعني hints كده. So hey is the owner around and then you say your name. So we work with other whatever الindustry، لازم تبقى عارف الindustry اللي انت هتشتغل عليها. فمثلا if you are working on roofing, so we work with other roofing companies and got questions for him. ده سؤال تاني ممكن تقوله للجي كيبر تاني لو قعدت تسأل او هو انت عايزه ليه. اوكي. وسؤال تالت برضو، so could you take more extra jobs in the next month or two? I need to discuss specifics with the owner. برضو كل ده عشان الجي كيبر تديك الاونر نفسه، لان هي دي يعتبر اول عقبة تقابلك، وهي ان انا اوصل للاونر، ان انا ما اعرفش اعدي الجي كيبر. ولازم تستفيد من الكونفرزيشن اللي مع الجي كيبر دي in two main points. ايه هما؟ ان انا احاول، طبعا ده الله اعلم هيحصل ولا لا، بس احاول ان انا اجيب السيلفون نمبر بتاعه او the best time to call him back. ما اديتكش السيلفون نمبر يبقى best time to call back. خدت السيلفون نمبر كده كده هتكلمه على طول and you can have also his name. بس انت لما تيجي تبدا conversation تاني ما تبداش من الاول. خلاص you know that the guy name is John وخلاص and you're gonna call John right away. اوكي. بعد كده بقيه الكلام ده هيتقال كله زي ما هو. فانت لازم برضو تبقى عارف انت بتتكلم على اندستري ايه عشان انت هتكررها كل شويه، يعني to be customized script شويه. اوكي. بس يمكن هنا السكريبت ده عن اي حاجه فاتت طبعا ما فيهوش example، ما فيهوش الحاجات دي. it's a new method يعني new technology and it's working. ونحاول كل كلمه نلتزم بيها زي ما هي. نو فري ستايلينج، بلاش تأليف، لا انا ازود هنا ما ازودش هنا، لا هو الكلام ده زي ما هو كده. اوكي. وبرضه ليه ال frequently asked questions بتاعته وهكذا، اللي هو how much does it cost و I'm not interested و اوكي. فهسيبكم دلوقتي مع the owner of the company. He's explaining بقى more about the script and how to talk, some tips and tricks and so on. وربنا يوفقكم إن شاء الله. السلام عليكم.
All right, just want to give my comments on some basic things, some fundamental things before going into specifics. So one thing to always remember is, what is the goal of your call? Like, what is the outcome of the call? We can break it down into three outcomes. Obviously, the first one is getting a call transferred live. The second option is the opposite, is getting a clean no, like disqualifying the customer, not interested, thank them politely, stop the call, don't waste your time, call someone else. I gotta get a clean no. And the third option is scheduling a callback, specific time. If they ask for an email, ask what they want in the email specifically. Because when people are saying send me an email, they don't really know what they want specifically. It means they don't see the value in whatever you're pitching. They don't understand it. and it's just an excuse to end the call. Don't let them, you know, have that excuse. Always say that not everything can be emailed. There are things that need to be shown live from my computer. I cannot include them in the email itself because it's a demonstration that will show you exactly what we do and how we do it specifically for your industry, specifically for your company. If you cannot convince them to tell you what they want in the email, schedule the callback to explain what the email contains. Because you'll be walking them through live links, live demonstration, proving what we do, how we do it, uh, and why it works. The goal is to get them on a call. The goal is not to send them an email. It will be forgotten. Nobody's gonna read it. Even if you schedule a time, they're not gonna open the email before you talk to them, right? That's just the numbers game. 95% of the people are not gonna open your email. Why? Because most of the time, in most cases, email is gonna be irrelevant. You're just gonna like push 100 examples in that email. It's gonna look like a wall of text. No one's gonna read it because people will not have enough desire to read your email. Why? Because you didn't build any. You didn't give them a reason to wait for that email, to expect that email, to want to read that email. They have 100 more things to do that are more attractive than reading your email. That's just the truth. Okay, 5%, maybe 95%. The reality is nobody cares about you, email. Okay. If there's not enough time, schedule a follow-up call. Specific day, uh, specific time. If they don't know specific time, at this specific time of day, tell them you will be texting them in advance and calling them on that day, on that time. Now that's the basics, okay? Transfer the call, set a scheduled time, or get off that call and call someone new. Remember that trust is low. Now, I've listened to a lot of calls, and what I hear happening is the same thing these people hear happening in the beginning of the call. They know exactly what's going on, which means they realize it's a telemarketer calling them to sell them some kind of bullshit marketing services. As soon as they have that idea that it's a sales call, it's a website call, it's a lead generation call, it's an SEO call, they have their guard up. They have resistance. So the goal of the beginning of the call is to not let them get their guard up. Okay? That's the fundamental thing to think about in terms of psychology. That's why the openers I laid out in the document are the way they are. Um, Second big mistake that I'm seeing, decision maker is not available, the owner is not available. You gotta ask for the number. Why? Because you have a business partnership offer. You can only discuss it with them or someone else who can talk about partnerships and doing deals together. Okay. So get their number. No number, get the time when they'll be back. Uh, what I'm hearing on the calls is when you ask when they'll be back, gatekeepers say, "Oh, I don't know, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow." Well, get their number then. To catch them for 15 minutes of the time to discuss if they qualify for the business partnership offer. At least text them on that number. If a gatekeeper is asking to leave a message, do not say, for the love of God, that it's about your business website ranking on AI and Google. Just think about it from the standpoint of the business owner who is getting those messages 10, 15, 20 times a day. Another company is calling to tell them that their rankings are bad. He knows that his rankings are probably bad, but your message does not convey a single reason or benefit for them to call you back. There's nothing in that message to spark their desire to give you a call back. Nothing whatsoever. It's a company name and a message that there is something to do with their website. Does that make them want to give you a call back? No, not at all. The website is working, fine. So we'll talk about it later. Another fundamental thing of the calls, it's a first call. The goal of the first call is to either get transferred, schedule a callback, or disqualify. It's not to sell the solution, okay? You cannot sell the solution on one call most of the time, and you don't have to. The goal of the first call is to sell the next conversation, either right away or later, to demonstrate what we can do for them. We cannot possibly know what we can do for them unless we've researched it in advance, which takes time and a lot of analysis. So no, we don't know exactly what the price is. We don't know what the cost is. We don't know how many competitors they have and how strong those competitors are. We don't know that. We have to qualify them, get them transferred, or schedule them for a full demonstration. The goal of the first call is to sell the conversation, not the solution. Because for the most calls, you don't know their objections, you don't know their desires, you don't know what they've done before, you don't know their existing results, you don't know what they think about any of the marketing solutions they've tried. You have no idea who they worked or haven't worked with before, so you literally know nothing. And specifically, you know nothing about their pre-existing desires. And you cannot create a desire in anyone. You can only channel the existing desire onto your solution. Until you don't know the desire, you cannot sell. Okay, period. So the only thing is that's left to do on the call is to qualify them and sell them the conversation. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the first part of the call. Now, if you were calling a large corporation with an office and a nice looking secretary and people in suits, probably you would have used a different language, but still, even if you called a big corporation with a big office and yada, 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 you would still call them with a tonality of a client, friend, or a partner. How that sounds is informal, easy, and relaxed tone because you don't want to get them to raise their guard. Okay. So there are um, two cases. Like you either get a decision maker, you either get a business owner or the gatekeeper. In either case, like if you're calling with this, like with the corp from Richmond Hill, Ontario, like you're trying to sound smart, and that's not a good thing to do. First of all, they will know it's some sort of like corporate or marketing call, or even worse, yeah, it's some sort of scam. Second of all, you don't want to sound more smarter than the person on the other end of the line. If you want to persuade anyone, your job is to um, get them to feel smarter from speaking with you, right? So if you start uh, with the core, first of all, if you name the business, just say WizDeck, because you don't want to get people confused. Like, is it one word, two words? Is it with the corp? Is it something else? You don't want them to stop and start thinking about what you're saying when it makes absolutely no sense to draw the attention to the company. And unless you call someone from the Toronto area, just do not mention that it's Richmond Hill, Ontario. For the love of God, just just don't. Nobody cares. Like every word you say must have a meaning. Like it has to get you closer to your result. If it doesn't, get rid of it. Okay. Next, when you call these blue collar businesses, for example, it's I don't know, a flooring company. They pick up the phone. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" Normally, if people want floors, if people already know the business owner, they're like, "Hey, can you connect me to John?" They don't say, "Hey, how?" They don't say it in a formal way, like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, just get to the point. Like, no one has time for that. Especially, do not use the upwards incantation, like "How you doing?" Like, and expect them to answer. The only way to do that is to say, um, for example, "Hey, how are you? It's John. Can I speak to the business owner?" Like, you have an expectation in your mind to get connected to business owner like right now because you've got like important stuff to convey. And at the same time, you're relaxed and confident, like you don't expect um, to get rejected. You're just using the gatekeeper to connect you. Like, "Hey, it's Mark, can you connect me to the business owner? Thanks." That's it. Um, even if someone says, "Hey, how are you?" You're like, "Hey, how are you?" And you continue your pitch. Like you don't stop at "How are you?" or you don't say, "Hey, it's John. How you doing?" Like if you were a client or a business partner, or if you had some valuable information, think about it. You would not stop. Like you don't call your friend with an important message and tell him and say, "Hey John, how are you?" And you're like, you wait. Like unless you have nothing to do at all and your friend has nothing to do at all and you just like bored out of your mind and you don't know what to say. That's the only uh, situation when you call someone and you make a pause. "Hey, how are you?" And you wait for them to answer. No, you're not like calling your mom to ask how she's doing. hey mom, how are you? And you actually want her to say something back. Okay? So forget about making a pause. Forget about how you doing. It's not like a way to start a conversation. Okay? You can say, how are you? Continue without pausing. How are you? Can I get it? Can you connect me to the business owner? Thanks. And like downwards incantation. You expect to get connected. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about talking with gatekeepers. Just imagine you're a gatekeeper or you're calling a gatekeeper. Their job is to either block unwanted calls, and most of the time, every call that has to do with a website, with ranking, with advertising and marketing will get blocked and rejected automatically. Why? Because too many people are calling them every single day. That's the reality of the business. And, there are so many freelancers and students and God knows who that calls them. There's only one wisdom. What I'm saying is there's only like 3% of qualified companies that ever call them. 97% of them are junk, scam, trash, unreliable students, freelancers, people that don't know what they're doing. That's why the industry has a bad name. It's not because marketing is bad, it's not because lead generation is bad, it's because there are so many beginners that don't know what they're doing that basically ruin it for everybody else. And that's the reality of the situation. Okay, so uh, what I want you to stop doing is this. Stop saying I came across your business website on Google. First of all, forget the word business website. Okay? It's not like a secretary has a personal website and you're calling them and you're like, oh, it's about your website. She's like, oh, I bought my personal website. No, it's about your business website. Of course, it's about the business website. Like I said, if you can skip a word, delete it. You know, every word carries a meaning, a reason, and a purpose. If it has no purpose, meaning, or reason to be present, it must not be there. It must not be in your communication. Now let's break it down. Uh, just think about the person on the other end. Okay. I came across your website on Google. Oh, so what does that mean? It means one thing. Their website is discoverable on Google. That's the only thing it means. Is it positive or negative in context of what you're trying to sell? It's negative. You actually managed to find their website. How is it connected to the rest of the conversation? It's not. If it's not connected to the rest of the conversation, it must not be there. And that's the point. You must not create a confusion in your prospect's mind. Your goal is to get them to think about either their pain or their desire and then connect that pain or desire to what you want them to do, which is to start talking about either satisfying that desire or solving that pain. There's nothing else. If they have no pain or no desire, there's no way for you to connect your solution to anything. You know, if a person does not have a dog, you're not gonna sell them dog food. Okay, so if that person has a dog and the dog is hungry and the person has limited amount of money, then selling them a discounted same day delivery of dog food is super easy. But selling them a subscription to, I don't know, um, Bird food would be impossible. You get me? Okay. So, so please stop saying I came across your website on Google. Um, it's not about where you found their website, it's about their pain or desire. So our goal is to either confirm their pain or to identify their desire. Um, Now, if you talk about ranking on AI systems and Google, you can only talk about it with the decision maker themselves when they confirm the interest to get more leads, to get more calls, to grow, etc., etc. You can explain the mechanism after they confirm their desire. If you're leaving those messages, uh, if you say that's the reason for your call, that it's their website ranking, you're not going to get transferred. You will get rejected, and you know that that's been happening all the time on most of the calls. When the gatekeeper is asking for a reason and you're like, it's about the website ranking, they're like, oh, you're one of those. Okay, okay. Yeah, the owner is not here. I don't know when they'll be back. I'll leave your number and they will get back to you, send us an email, blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit 90% of the time. The only thing that will get you past a gatekeeper trained to reject any website SEO marketing, yada, 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 is to say that it's a business offer, if it's a partnership offer, and you want to discuss the specifics of the deals with the business owner. Okay. Why? Because we're working with similar companies and we don't have a partnership established in this city. Okay. We work with other roofing companies. I got a question for the business owner. Like, it's not up to a gatekeeper to decide on the specifics of this. But if they ask, uh, what is it regarding to? And you can say, do you know if he could take extra jobs in the next month or two? I need to discuss specifics with them. Most likely they will get you transferred, because that sounds like a business talk. That sounds like bullshit, okay? And that sounds like a specific business offer you need to discuss. That's the point. If they say the business owner is not available, get a mobile number or a specific time to call them back. Most of the time, the gatekeeper would know more or less when they're back, or can give you their mobile number. What is the reason for asking? It's a potential partnership. We work with other industry companies. We're looking to choose one partner in your city, in Austin. Email, we've discussed it. Yeah, it doesn't work because we need to verify a couple of things with them so that we can send relevant information on that email. It's not gonna take long. What kind of things? Technical details, types of deals, and clients we work on together. And this is 100% true because if they don't have a website, we got to discuss technical details like keywords, etc., types of deals, types of clients, which means services and keywords the website will be optimized for, right? We work on together. Yeah, they provide us with information. We build them a website. We drive them traffic, yada, yada, yada. You don't have to explain it to anyone. But that's the reason for discussing specifics with the business owner. Technical details and types of deals and clients, types of jobs we work on together. Okay. Um, Now, remember what I said about downward voice incantation. If you know the name and you call the company, it's like, hey, it's John around, it's Mike. And you don't say, hey, it's John around, it's Mike from With the Corp. You don't talk like that, right? You expect to get connected, and it's almost like casual, like command. Uh, so when gatekeeper picks up the phone, he's like, hey, it's Jessica. He's like, hey, it's Mike around, it's John. You know, that's it. Connect me to him. Similar thing if you don't know the name. Hey, is business owner around? It's John. Like you don't say it's John from Wisdom Corp from Richmond Hill, Ontario. Like it gives her too many opportunities to ask which John, why you calling, what's the company name exactly. If she starts asking questions, then you can go through this. If she doesn't ask questions, great. Sound, you gotta sound like the business owner is expecting your call. All right, and you're not expecting to discuss with the gatekeeper the reason for your call. You expect her to transfer you over. Mm, that's the intonation, that's the expectation that must be when you open the call. Okay, so if you're connected with the decision maker, um, I want you to try two things. If you know the name, try talking to them exactly like this. So double tap on the name. So repeat their name twice. And then continue into your permission-based page. So that would sound like, John, you go up. John, hey, John, down swing. John, hey, John, it's same from, John, hey, John, it's Jason from Wisdom. And you continue into the page. I know I'm interrupting, but do you mind if I grab 30 seconds? I'll let you know why I called, and then you can let me know if it's relevant or not. Okay, that's boom. You said if they say yes, and you say, sweet, I appreciate that. And then you go into your qualification thing. Um, if you don't know the name, right? Similar thing. Hey, John, I know I'm interrupting, but do you mind if I grab 30 seconds? I'll let you know why I called, and then you can let me know if it's relevant or not. Okay, boom. Or another variation like the 22nd one. But please, for the love of God, do not invent your own unless they're verified and it sounds like good English that makes sense, that is very well put together. Okay. This thing has been parsed by an AI model. Um, and specifically, it sounds like conversational English that people would use when they call on this level. Okay. So if you want them to trust you more in the beginning, learn specific proven phrases and just use them. Either memorize them or read them off the screen, but do not invent your own. Do not start uh, losing yourself in the first few sentences because you forgot, how these words connect together. Um, Eventually, you will, learn them, and they will be your second nature. But I don't want you to use any other phrases. I want you to open calls uh, exactly as it's laid out in the blueprint. I want you to use exact openers and test one, and then switch to another, and then test the third one, and then test the fourth one. if you keep mixing up different ways to open calls, different ways to qualify people, different ways to say hello, different ways to introduce yourself, you're not gonna have any data on what works and what doesn't, because you're polluting the data with all sorts of variations of how you handle those calls. So you have to nail down the introduction, you have to nail down the tonality, you have to nail down the pauses, you have to nail down everything exactly the same so you know which approach works and which doesn't. Until that is happening, it makes no sense to even continue trying because you're not learning anything. Um, okay, so that's the alternative opening. Give me 20 seconds, I'll tell you why I called, and then you can hang up on me, know how I'm feeling is okay. And you just continue straight into your pitch. You basically qualify them. Now, in terms of qualification, I'll make another video on that. Okay, so like I said before you offer anything, basically, before you pitch, you need to understand either what their desire is. I mean, I know what their desire is at this point, is to get off that call immediately, right? And you know that as well. Why I know that? Because up to this point, you did not provide them with any value whatsoever. Like they don't know what you want from them. So their only natural reaction, their only natural desire at this point is to end the call as soon as possible because they have like 15 other things to do than to talk to you. And that's the reality of the situation because no amount of introduction or no amount of saying your company name is from such and you're from Richmond Hill, Ontario, is not going to increase their desire to stay on that call. Okay, so what do people want more of? Right? They want more time, they want more money, they want better relationships. So while we cannot help them with relationships, we can help them with either more money or more time in their life, right? And so essentially what we're selling them, what the outcome is of any marketing service is essentially money, right? How those business owners think about money in terms of either revenue in dollars or in terms of getting more jobs, right? So before you present them anything as a solution to their problem, you have to confirm that they have a problem in the first place. They have to tell you what they want or what they want to get rid of, right? Like in my example with dog food, if they have a hungry dog, you have to identify that they do have a dog and the dog is hungry. Then you can say, awesome, I have just the thing for you. It's on the way to your house. It can be there in 15 minutes if you give me your credit card right now. Your dog will be fed in 15 minutes. Brilliant. Perfect. But until you know what problem they have, in our case, a hungry dog, you don't know what to sell them. Because, maybe you have a car to sell them, but they already have a car. Maybe you have steaks to sell them, but they're not hungry and they're a vegetarian. You cannot sell meat to a vegetarian, I hope you get my point. So before you try to shove your pitch down their throat, before you pitch anything, you have to confirm to identify their desire, right? And that's why the qualification questions are there. So many calls, so many calls get absolutely wasted. Like half of them get wasted because you pitch, you discuss, you talk to them, and the client says, we don't need more work right now. We're totally booked out. Like we're busy, we're gonna be busy for the next 3 months. We don't need anything. It makes no sense to continue talking to that customer. Find the one that is looking to grow and has budget to do that. If they're not looking to grow, if they don't have any budget whatsoever, trying to convince them to still have that conversation is very, very hard. It's point number one. Point number two, as long as you know how much more work they want, the rest of the conversation can be built on top of that. And that's how you ask it. Literally like that. And for the love of God, again, please use the confirmed phrases. Do not invent your own. Do not start rambling. Do not start asking them about their advertising. Just stick to the flow. You know, if they're taking more work right now, great. That means you can help them get more money. You can help them uh, grow the company revenue. And you can confirm them. Like if they can take like real volume or just 5, 10 extra jobs a month, and then you can continue into your pitch because the pitch will be connected to their desire. When you talk about more good jobs that showed up next month, what does it do? It paints a very real picture in their mind, right? It's it paints a picture, a desirable picture. Like they can feel it, you know? If they're a kitchen remodeler and you're talking about 5 more kitchens, that's a very like a real tangible thing they can think about. Depending on the company, 5 extra jobs per month can represent like $100,000 in revenue. Like if it's some sort of kitchen remodeling, if it's e- epoxy like flooring, if it's a big like commercial projects, it can be even more. But you get them to focus on what they want. And then you can build the rest of the conversation on top of it. If you try to be smart and if you try to pitch them without them first thinking about their own desire or their own pain, you're only creating more resistance. You're only creating more rejection because what they think about is they're processing your thoughts they did not ask for. You get what I'm saying? If you start talking about them, are you taking more work right now? Literally, ask anyone this question, they will only be able to think about your question, nothing else. That's how the brain works. You know, you drop you drop a word in someone's brain, it's impossible for them to unhear it. It's impossible for them to not think about it. If I tell you to think about a blue monkey, you will think about the blue monkey. Like it's impossible not to. You know what I mean? So your job before pitching is to get them to focus on what they want, not what you want. It's irrelevant. And what this does, it paints a picture in their mind. If they don't want more work, If they're okay, if they don't want to grow, what are you going to sell them? More growth? They just literally told you they don't want it. So if they say no, we're fine, you can reconfirm that by asking. So you couldn't like take 5, 10 more jobs even if they showed up. If they say, yeah, we're like totally cool, totally busy, we don't care, blah, 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 just thank them and, you know, and end the call. Don't try to convince them. Like you're fighting an uphill battle. There's a better client waiting for you that actually that can take more work. Um, you can use the alternative qualification sentence. You're not looking to grow more in the next 3 months. You're like stupid or something, you know? If they could say, well, hmm, yeah, we could possibly scale in the next 3 months. That's the only way to, again, confirm how much they could be looking to scale and then go into the pitch. That you can do. But again, when you're at this point in the conversation, please use one of the approved lines and either read it from the screen or memorize it verbatim, practice the tonality, and stick to it. Okay, so let's get into the pitch. Now, what I'm thinking, is switching up the pitch like that. That's the pitch. Then you ask the question to get a yes. And then you continue into it. Okay. Now, I have to understand one thing. A lot of companies and a lot of people call the same prospects every day. And what that means is they've heard a lot of different variations of people pitching them SEO. When they hear SEO, what they think is that they understand what an SEO is, because they've heard it so many times, which causes them to mentally opt out, which means get their guard up, uh, resistance comes up. They literally shut down their brain from listening to you. Like they stop listening as soon as the brain simplifies and categorizes what it hears into a bucket, into a known bucket, into a known category, right? It puts it in a box. And what you want to avoid is being put in a box. Because there's a big box that says low quality marketing services that never work. And that's the box we want to avoid. So how we avoid getting put into that box is to saying something, first of all, different, saying something unique, and describing what we do as as something that has a unique mechanism or unique technology. You can even say on a new technology. Okay. Because unless you explain and prove that you actually do use a different method, you're going to be put in the old box. And that's By the way, that's one of the reasons why the blueprint um, exists, uh, why it's called the blueprint build. Okay, and it explains how we do it, where the blueprint name comes from, uh, how we build it. No other agency has it. You should have this text, right? And we build it to be ranked and recommended. That's the explanation of the technology, of the method, and that's why it has its own name. Okay? And that's actually all of it is true, right? We do look at how Google ranks top competitors on all the keywords and how those websites are built, and then we build the site on top of what's already proven to win. That's where the blueprint comes from. Then we build something even better. And we build it because in 7 days because we have our own system built over like 27 years and thousands of projects, right? And we use all the smart things and it's all streamlined and we have modular libraries, etc. Don't say we built with AI, by the way. No other agency has it because it's our internal intellectual property. Freelancers don't have it. It's not a template. It's a method. That's how our client get leads and they get them fast. Okay. That's the long explanation. But let's get back to it. So you pitch, you focus on the proof, and it's important to be moderately excited when you talk about it, right? So when you say what we do is plain and simple, you don't say what we do is plain and simple. We make roofing companies. Blah, 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 blah. It's not exciting. You're calling to choose one company in the city to dominate it, right? And you're excited because it's a cool thing. We can actually make roofing companies the one ChatGPT and Google recommends when someone nearby is ready to buy. That part is not even like necessary at this point. And then you go into your proof, right? You, you don't really even have to, because if you confirm that they use ChatGPT and they know what it functions like, you connect them to like the novelty factor. Naturally, when you make a claim, again, think about how your prospect perceives it. You're like, we're capable of doing this like super amazing thing, right? We're able to deliver your dog food in 5 seconds and it will cost you $1 per month. They're like, yeah, really? And the same as here. The next question is like, really? Can you prove it? Like that you do this? Because imagine if you had a company and someone told you, we can make your company number one. We can manipulate ChatGPT and Google to recommend your company as the number one. Your next question is not going to be how, like how you're going to do that. Your next question will be, yeah, really? Like prove it to me. Like I don't believe you. That's the next logical question anyone would have in their mind. And that's why this blog is here. You know, what it looks like, specifics. We built a site for this company. They got that many leads. A deck builder, 14 leads in the first 3 weeks after launching. HVAC company, 7 leads in the first week. All new customers found them through Google and AI. That's what we do. That's the outcome, right? And suppose your prospect is still listening. They're like, okay, maybe maybe it worked for like others. Okay. They're starting to believe that the next question will be like, how does it work and how much it costs? And that's why this blog is here. So that's the anecdotal proof. You're saying it worked for others. That's the technical proof, you know, how we are better than others. We're building it on new technology that loads under 1 second. And that's what Google and AI systems want. That's what gets you jobs. Remember, we asked them if they want more jobs. We're repeating the same language. They don't care. Remember, they don't care about ranking on top of Google. Like, I don't care about ranking on top of Google. Do you care about ranking on top of Google? I don't. What I care about is making more money, Yeah, I do care about that. More ranking, less ranking, I don't care, you know. If it gets me jobs, yeah, I care about it, but that's the outcome. That's what you asked them about. That's what they started thinking about, getting more, 5, 10 more jobs next month. And you're saying that's the system, that's what the systems want. They want websites that load under 1 second that are built to rank and convert. And that's what gets recommended, and that's what turns visitors into leads or phone calls. You know, that's what it does. And after another proof point, you switch to a transfer. You know, they're like, man, suppose I believe you, but like, I still have doubts. And then you say, we got 30 years and thousands of projects experience. Every claim I made, we can show you live. Most of the competition is still behind. They don't even know it's a thing yet. And it's worth seeing, not hearing. It's worth seeing those websites that load under 1 second. And that's exactly what Kevin walking you, why the next step is Kevin walking you through live client examples. Now or later today? That's the only question. Okay. Um, and we're going to talk about objections and pricing and other things in the next one. Okay. So to keep the conversation more focused, keep asking them advertising questions unless you know exactly, unless you know that they run ads. And on many calls, I've heard questions like, oh, do you run Google Ads? And they say, yeah, we run them. And then the conversation goes nowhere. Like it's not connected to the point of the conversation, which is to qualify them, to get them focused on their desire and to transfer the call to give them a quote or to give them an estimate or to compare how fast their website loads with the websites that actually generate leads. What websites that print money, that generate revenue, that generate calls and leads. They load under 1 second. You type it in, boom. But instead, it's like, oh, do you run ads? Yeah, we run ads. Oh yeah, how's it going for you? It's going all right. And the conversation dies or like gets like completely lost. You have to keep them focused on one thing, either their pain or their desire. One emotion, primary line of conversation. Could sound like it's like, hey, by the way, you looking to grow in the next 3 months, or like you're good? They're like, yeah, we could grow a little bit, like, oh, cool, cool. How many more jobs do you think you could take? Like, they're like, yeah, 2, 3 jobs, yeah, sure. What about 5? Would you want 5? Or they're like 10. No, 10 would be too much, too much. I don't have that many people. Okay, what about 5? If we could bring you like 5 more jobs, like what would that look for you? Would you be like super busy? You're like, nah, if you bring me 5 jobs, I'd be happy. You're like, great, that's awesome. At least we know that you can run those jobs when we bring them, not if we bring them, by the way, when we bring them. They're like, and they start thinking, they start dreaming about those things, right? But if you tell them, oh, do you run Facebook ads? They're like, yeah, we run Facebook ads. And they start thinking about that stupid Mary that runs those Facebook ads that cost them money, but they don't really know how much those Facebook ads generate. What they do know is that they're paying for them and they're paying Mary, and they get some weird calls and like weird emails and maybe they generate some jobs or not. Like you're not driving them towards like positive experience focused on your conversation. They started like daydreaming about something else. The only way to connect, uh, 2 ways to connect Google Ads to the conversation properly, right? Is to ask them how many calls they convert into sales, right? If they say, well, I don't know, we get like 5 calls a day and we maybe generate like 5 jobs a month. You're like, okay, 5 calls a day, 20 days, so that's like 100 calls, and you generate like 5 jobs a month. That means you convert like 5 to 10%. Like, sound like reality? They'd be like, yeah, sounds about right. You're like, cool. So if we generated like 100 leads for you with this thing, it would mean, you would close 5 to 10 jobs out of it. They're like, yeah, okay, yeah, probably, yeah, 5 to 10, maybe. You're like, okay, cool. How much 5 jobs would be worth to you, like for your best service? They would give you a number, and then you can work with that number, right? If it's a, I don't know, construction company and they build, I don't know, custom cabinetry or like closets, how much 5 average cabinetry jobs would generate for you? They'll be like, maybe about like 80 grand. You're like, cool. Okay. So that's the number you can work with. And then you're like, fantastic. We can give you an estimate based on that. Now we know how many more calls and leads, would have to generate to get you like 5 more jobs. And you know what? Jobs from ChatGPT convert even better into jobs because people trust ChatGPT, and Google AI. If it says this company is recommended, the AI said the company is recommended. I don't know. It's well-known fact that those leads convert higher. It's just a fact. That's one thing. The second benefit is when we rebuild the website, uh, paid traffic converts higher and costs less. So probably 50% or maybe even double the leads from the same budget. Why? Because clicks become cheaper, because website is faster, quality score is higher, and pages are designed to convert, because that's how we build our websites, you know, and we can prove that. All right, so they can continue running Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever they do, just by rebuilding the website and investing like $1,500, $2,000 a month into rebuilding the website and getting organic leads. They probably get 5, 10, probably 20 more leads from their existing paid campaigns. And if you know how well leads on calls convert into sales, right? And you're supposed to have asked that. If you know that, You can say 10, 20 more leads from PPC, 1, 2 more jobs per month. How about that? Conservatively, okay, 10 more leads, 1 more job. If one job is, I don't know, anyone from 15K to 30K, that's immediate benefit for the company just from rebuilding a website. Forget about like all the organic leads we generate them. And which brings us to this point. Price makes no sense if it's not tied to value. And you can use this ways of talking about price. You can use different ways of talking about price. Like if you say, how much does it cost? You can tell them how much do you want? You want $1 million a month? We can build you 5, 10 websites to get you to $1 million a month in new jobs. We can do that. If you want $5,000 more per month, probably we're not a company to deal with because, there's your margin, expenses, this and that. It's probably not going to be profitable for you. We only work with companies that are like willing to grow. All right. Our job is to bring them tens more thousands of dollars in revenue. So if I told you it costs like $10,000, is it expensive or is it cheap? Is $10,000 a lot if it generates them $500,000 in revenue? It's nothing, right? But is $1,000 a lot if it generates them $5,000 in revenue? It's up to them to say, right? What about this picture? Is 1,500 a lot if it generates you $15,000 in revenue? What if it generates you 25? Is that a lot? You tell me. How much is a car? $100,000. Is that a lot? I don't know. If it's a 1996 Toyota Camry, yeah, it's a lot. If it's a brand new Bugatti Chiron, totally new in perfect condition, full tank of gas, 100,000 is nothing. Because this car costs, I don't know, several $1 million. You know what I mean? Is $500 cheap? If it does nothing, if it generates nothing, it's very expensive. And don't discuss packages, please. You cannot discuss packages because you don't know nothing. You don't know their competition, you don't know specific types of keywords we'll be focusing on, you don't know their competition. Only an expert can provide an estimate 20 minutes now or later today. If it's not today, how about tomorrow? What time are you available tomorrow to look at the results and see everything for yourself? Because we can demonstrate it. I can tell you anything on the call, but when you see it with your own eyes, you understand the difference. Because any claim I make, it's impossible to prove it unless you see it, feel it, touch it, see it with your own eyes, how fast those websites are, why they convert so well to calls and sales leads. So do not talk about the price. Please ask them about the value, how much they want. No, really, how much they want. Because we can build them we can build them a $25,000 a month package, aiming at generating them, I don't know, 500K a month, $1 million a month. The CD depends how many websites, depends on what we do on the back end. We can build them 100 websites if they're ready and willing to pay. We can start with 10, but you know what I mean. Other ways of talking about it, they're here. They're also in the document. Please use them. Avoid talking about specifics. Transfer to the call.